Hi, this is Luke from YAstrength, and in this video, I'm going to discuss 6 common intermittent fasting myths. So the first myth that I'm going to discuss in this video is the fact that some people think that intermittent fasting is bad for your health overall. People think that it's just bad for your body and it's an unhealthy way to lose weight in general. But here's the truth. Various research studies have found that intermittent fasting helps the body switch its source of energy from glucose to ketones. And ketones are stored in fat, which is a good thing because you want your body to use fat as fuel as opposed to glucose as fuel. That process is known as ketosis. And ketosis is known to have a positive effect on aging and health. This process also aids in the removal of damaged cells and aids in repair of the body. Plus, the impact of ketosis even carries over into your non-fasting period. So when you fast, yes, it causes the body to switch over into ketosis eventually. But what happens is even when you begin eating again, ketones are still in the body, and that helps with improving glucose regulation, increasing your stress regulation, and it helps suppress inflammation, specifically inflammation in the body. So yes, of course, intermittent fasting leads to reduced calories, which leads to weight loss, and it could be a very useful tool for people looking to lose weight. But keep in mind that weight loss is not the only benefit that you get from intermittent fasting, and it should not be the only goal that you want to achieve with regard to intermittent fasting, because intermittent fasting is a lot more than just weight loss. So people also think that you end up eating more when you finally eat after a fast or after your fasting window. There are claims that you will actually overeat when you finally begin eating in your feeding window, thus causing you to eat more than you would have had you not fasted. While it's true that you may try to compensate for those calories lost by eating a little bit more, that little bit more that you overate usually isn't enough to compensate for the amount that you fasted. For example, there was a research study done on people who fasted for extended periods of time. And I'm talking 36 hours or so, like an extreme version of alternate day fasting. The study found that even in this case, a 36-hour fast did not even urge the participants or the subjects in the study to overcompensate for when they finally ate. So even those individuals that fasted for 36 hours that they watched and studied, they were not able to overcompensate during the eating window. So when you do go on a fast, you cannot you can, but you will not usually overeat because you'll be full and you won't have the urge to overeat once you've ate a satisfactory amount of food, which for people usually is not enough to cause you to eat a day's worth of missed food, if that makes sense. So again, although you might eat more than you normally would, when you do begin eating, it will not be enough to cause you to overeat. That's why this myth isn't true. Some people believe that doing intermittent fasting or practicing intermittent fasting or living that lifestyle is for people who like to starve their body, or that you actually be starving your body if you do decide to intermittent fast. And here's the thought behind that myth. There's a thought that you are starving yourself when you fast, and that in turn will cause your body to slow down its metabolism. But actually, there is no evidence that intermittent fasting slows down your metabolism any more than a typical diet would, or any more than other weight loss strategies would. So if you believe that intermittent fasting puts your body into starvation mode, what about other diets out there? Although I always say that intermittent fasting is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. But let's compare intermittent fasting to someone who is doing a calorie restricted diet. The only difference is the timing in which they eat, correct? So there really isn't a difference. So if you do indeed think that intermittent fasting causes your body to go into starvation mode, then you are essentially thinking that majority of other weight loss mechanisms or diets or lifestyles puts your body into starvation mode, and that really isn't the case. Now, there is something called extended fasting where you fast for longer periods of time beyond 20 hours or 36 hours. In that case, different bodily effects occur. But when it comes to intermittent fasting, I'm talking about people who do alternate day fasting, or they fast for 16 hours and eat for an 8-hour window. Starvation will not occur, and it also does not slow down the body's metabolism in a way that puts your body into starvation mode, contrary to what some people think. Now, some people think that you shouldn't even drink water when you fast. Now, there is something called dry fasting, but that's not the same as intermittent fasting. So, not drinking water is a myth, and here's why. There are certain religious fasts, such as Ramadan, where you're restricting periods of time where you can eat, but that isn't the same as intermittent fasting, and that's oftentimes where people get the don't drink water idea from, because obviously that's been more known in terms of a discussion when it comes to religious fasting as opposed to intermittent fasting. And not to say that intermittent fasting wasn't always around, but as far as it being as common as it is today, people oftentimes associate those rules with intermittent fasting. So if you're fasting, they think you're supposed to be drinking water or eating, but that isn't the case. When you do decide to intermittent fast, you can drink as much water as you'd like. The only thing is you can't add anything to your water. So don't add any sugar to your water if you want sugar water, or don't add any creamer to your water or flavor to your water to make it a juice if you like. You want to keep the water just water to hydrate your body, but you do not want to put anything in that water that will cause your insulin levels to spike, because causing your insulin levels to spike will definitely cause your body to stop burning fat and begin burning glucose, which is the sugar that is running through your bloodstream because you just consumed either sugar or something into your body. So, long story short, drink all the water that you want. You can also drink coffee. You could also drink tea. Just make sure that there's nothing in that coffee or tea. So, no creamers, no stevia, nothing in there, okay? Except for black coffee or plain tea, and of course, water. Some people do not even want to get into fasting because they feel like it's going to drain them of their energy and they're going to feel weak and lethargic all day. But that too is a myth. And this is because when you intermittent fast, your body taps into an alternate resource. So when you're not fasting, when you're eating regularly, your body is using glucose as energy. So glucose stored in your liver, stored in your muscles, is using that as energy. That's your number one energy source. So from the carbs you eat, it turns it into sugar, into the bloodstream, and your body absorbs that energy and uses it for different parts of the body. However, when you intermittent fast, don't think because you're restricting yourself from eating that you'll feel weak. Your body will actually begin using fat as fuel in the form of ketones. So that's when your body gets into ketosis. And if you want me to do a video on ketosis, let me know. Let's write that in the comment section below, and I'll take care of that for you. Back to the point. Your body turns to fat for energy. And a lot of us have a lot of fat to spare. Even lean people have a lot of fat to spare. This is why you have enough energy to continue and push forward. You will not feel weak or like you lack energy because you did not eat. Now, it will take some time getting used to. I'm not saying the first time you intermittent fast, you're going to feel perfectly fine. It's an adjustment period. So I recommend that everyone start small, right, and increase your fasting window over time. One more thing. I recommend that if you are a person that has this thought, you're afraid to do intermittent fasting because you think you'll feel weak or you won't have enough energy throughout the day, speak to someone who actually does intermittent fasting, like myself. Type in some questions within the comment section below and see what others think, see how others feel, and what they experience when they intermittent fasted. Because me personally, when I intermittent fast, I have a lot of energy. And other people that I've spoken to have said the same thing. So contrary to people who believe in that myth, you might actually have more energy, and it could be to the point where you feel like you want to go kill a workout or go on a run or do some activity because you have so much energy and you feel focused and zoned in. So don't be afraid, you won't feel weak, but give it a shot and let me know what your experience was in the comment section below. can actually skip breakfast and be okay. You can actually skip breakfast and be just fine. And yes, you might think, well, if I skip breakfast, I'll just have a larger lunch and that defeats my purpose. Or if I skip breakfast and I won't be able to focus and I'll be all out of whack. But that isn't the case. The truth is, most people skip breakfast without any negative side effect. Plus, a lot of people already technically skip breakfast. And it's important to note that when you see breakfast, there's two words in there: break, fast. So breakfast simply means when you break your fast. And of course, in our society, we associate breaking your fast in the morning because you sleep overnight and then you break your fast in the morning, which is why people associate breakfast with a morning meal. But breakfast could simply mean when you decide to break your fast. So you can have your breakfast at 1 p.m. if you want it to be at 1 p.m. You can have it at 12 p.m. if you want it to be at 12 p.m. So long story short, not eating breakfast or not eating food first thing when you wake up is not essential to your health. So don't think it's essential that I eat breakfast or else I'm gonna go crazy. And guess what? If you really want breakfast or if you really like breakfast, you can have that while you intermittent fast. And here's how. You can simply make your eating window start in the morning. So if you're doing a 16-8 fasting method where you're fasting for 16 hours and eating for 8 hours, make your 8-hour window start in the morning. So if it's easier for you to have breakfast, by all means, have it. Let's make that hour start in the morning. And by hour, I'm talking about your intermittent fasting eating window. So bottom line, we can understand where these myths come from. It's because that's how people are used to living. That's how people grow up. This is what the societal norms are typically when it comes to eating. You're expected to eat all day. You're expected to have breakfast in the morning, lunch in the middle of the day, or food at night. But the thing is, your body is easily adaptable and you can eat whenever you decide to eat as long as you eat. And your body gets those essential nutrients that your body needs to survive. Now, when it comes to when you eat, that's up to you. It doesn't have to be in the morning or at lunch or at night. It could be within an 8-hour window. It could be every other day. You decide what you want it to be. And that's what intermittent fasting is all about. So we still want you to eat. That's very important. Still eat your food, but you can eat it in whatever window you decide to eat for yourself. Plus, a lot of these myths are not based on actual science or facts. When it comes to the research studies that I've discussed in a lot of my videos that you've seen out here on YouTube, there are oftentimes links posted to research studies that show your results when it comes to intermittent fasting. So the thought that you will feel lethargic or weak or you'll starve yourself, these things simply are true when it comes to science-backed research studies. But we get it. Fasting can be confusing to the first timer who hears about it, but that's okay. Keep doing your research, keep learning about it, and begin your intermittent fasting journey when you're ready. It's going to be a fun ride. I hope that you found this video helpful and informative. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. See you in the next video.